Hello everyone. Today we'll be covering the topic the orbit. Now the orbits, as you can see, are pyramidal bony cavities situated one on each side. We have the right and the left orbit. So they provide the sockets of rotatory movements for the eyeballs, and they also protect the eyeballs from any trauma. Now what is the shape and position of these orbits? Each orbit resembles a four-sided pyramid. How is it a four-sided pyramid? This side 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has four sides. Also it has an apex in the center, and this would be the base. So it's like a cone shape which has place inside. If you place a cone inside, the apex would be in the interior, and this would be the base, and this would be the medial wall, the floor, the lateral wall, and the roof. The same goes for this side. Apex, base, medial wall, lateral wall, the roof, and the floor. So now we'll be talking about the roof. So this would be the roof of the orbit. As you can see, the roof of the orbit. The roof is concave from side to side. It is mainly formed by the orbital plate of the frontal bone and is formed by the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. So there are two bones here, the frontal bone and the sphenoid bone, forming the roof of the orbit. How does this roof separate? It separates the interior of the skull from the orbit. So this plate or the roof separates the interior of the skull from and the orbit. Now the relationships. So it also separates the frontal air sinuses. The lacrimal fossa. Now this is placed anterolaterally and it lodges the lacrimal gland. Anterolaterally, this would be your lacrimal fossa here. This is the lacrimal fossa. Similarly here, anterolaterally on the roof we have the lacrimal fossa and it lodges the lacrimal gland. What comes next is the optic canal, which lies posteriorly and at the junction of the roof and the medial wall. So this is the medial wall, and at its junction here, this is the optic canal. This structure is the optic canal at the junction of the roof and the medial wall. Bilaterally we have the optic canal. Okay, the optic canal opens inside. So as you can see, this is the optic canal. Okay, this is visible optic canal at the junction of the roof and the medial wall. So we have learned two structures, the lacrimal fossa and the optic canal, and the third one is the trochlear fossa. It lies anteromedially, and what does it do? It provides attachment to the superior oblique muscle. This would be your trochlear fossa. Bilaterally this is broken, so we have anteromedially trochlear fossa, anterolaterally lacrimal fossa, and the optic canal. So we have covered the roof. Now we'll talk about the lateral wall. The lateral wall is the thickest and the strongest of all the four walls of the orbit. It is formed anteriorly by the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. It is formed by the anterior surface of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone, that is posteriorly, and it is formed by the zygomatic bone anteriorly. So this is the lateral wall formed by zygomatic bone and the greater wing of sphenoid bone. There are certain important structures here, which is the superior orbital fissure, which occupies the posterior surface. It is formed between the junction of the roof and the lateral wall. So what we have here, so as you can see, this is the superior orbital fissure. This structure is the superior orbital fissure, and from inside what we see here, this one is the superior orbital fissure, and this one superior orbital fissure bilaterally. Superior orbital fissure, this one superior orbital fissure. So what we have in the lateral wall is the superior orbital fissure. Then we have the Whitnall's or zygomatic tubercle. This is laterally, this tubercle is known as Whitney's tubercle or zygomatic tubercle, which is attachment to the check ligament or the lateral check ligament of the eyeball. Alright, so once again, this is the superior orbital fissure. Alright, superior orbital fissure, and from interior of the skull I'll show you. This structure is the superior orbital fissure here, and this one here, superior orbital fissure. Now that we have covered the roof, the lateral wall, we'll talk about the floor of the orbit. The floor slopes upwards. As you can see, it goes from down and it goes upwards in an inclined plane, upwards. It has one important structure, that is the inferior orbital fissure. These are the inferior orbital fissures. Just like we had superior orbital fissure, we have inferior orbital fissures. In these inferior orbital fissures, the floor is formed by the maxillary bone, and it separates the orbit from the maxillary sinus. Alright, it separates the orbit from the maxillary sinus. The orbit separates the anterior of the skull from the upfrontal bone, the frontal sinuses and the maxillary sinuses. It will also separate it from the sphenoidal sinuses and ethmoidal sinuses by its medial wall. Now the inferior orbital fissure we have seen. Now we'll talk about the medial wall. The medial wall is formed by four main important bones. So we'll talk about the median wall, which is formed by four main important bones. First one is the frontal process of the maxilla. So frontal process of the maxilla. Second comes the lacrimal bone itself. The third one is the orbital plate of the ethmoid bone. And lastly, the body of the sphenoid bone. So from anterior backwards if we go, we have maxilla, lacrimal bone, ethmoid, and lastly the sphenoid bone. What we have here is the lacrimal groove. This is the lacrimal groove of the, as you can see, this is the lacrimal groove. It is formed by the maxilla, and this median wall, as I told before, it separates the ethmoidal sinuses and the sphenoidal sinuses. The medial wall separates these two. Now the lacrimal groove holds, it leads inferiorly through the nasolacrimal duct into the inferior meatus of the nose. It leads into the inferior meatus of the nose. Inferior meatus of the nose. So lacrimal groove leads to the inferior meatus of the nose. Now we are almost done with the orbit. We have learned all the four walls, the apex, the base, and few important structures which pass through. Now what passes through the inferior orbital fissure? Through inferior orbital fissure passes the zygomatic nerve, the orbital branches of the pterygopalatine ganglion, and the infraorbital nerve and its vessels. What passes through the inferior orbital fissure? Through inferior orbital fissure pass the zygomatic nerve, the orbital branch of the pterygopalatine ganglion, and the infraorbital nerve and vessels. Right? Thank you.